been a huge pleasure to be your Toastmaster here today. I hope you have a very enjoyable 2017. Don't kill yourself with too many New Year's resolutions. And now I'm going to hand you over to our General Evaluator. She is a person with an unparalleled amount of positivity. Please welcome to the stage Aggie Healy.
Start as you mean to go on. Wow, what an awesome start to 2017. Thank you so much, early bird speakers, for giving us the beginning that we needed. I'm going to run through everyone who hasn't been evaluated, and for the first couple of people, I'm only just going to do a recommendation and a commendation. So first of all, I'm afraid, group them together. Luke and Solomon on sign-in and reception. Both were outstanding. Warm, open, encouraging. I knew exactly what to do. I have absolutely nothing to feed back. High five. Then on to the president, Mindy Jutte. Sorry. I loved her great enthusiasm, wonderful welcome. I felt very relaxed sitting here and as though I was in very safe hands. My one piece of advice, she only has 1 minute. Don't try and squeeze everything in. Pick one point and really hammer it home. We want something that's simple and clear, easy to take away. So that would be my one recommendation. On to our Toastmaster of the day, the wonderful Chris. Fantastic energy, and I'm so thrilled we didn't have a cliche topic. I was wondering, oh my God, we're going to go into, I want to lose weight as well, and then I want to get fit, and yawn. I was thinking, oh God, this is going to be an awful, the first 2017. But he managed to save us from that hell, so thank you, Chris. I'm forever in your debt. My one advice for Chris is he doesn't need notes. He's good enough. I can see there in your hands. You're better than that. So I know that I've got them, but you're better than that. So try and challenge yourself. But overall, I thought he was in fantastic control in the meeting. He subconsciously wound everything together. I don't know if you noticed, but he kept on using kind of similar words, taste, indulge, secret sauce throughout, which made, it made it flow a lot better. Guest host Neil, again, he was in full control. He completely led the room and welcomed everyone. He stood firm. He was here as the guest introducer. My one challenge for Neil is, everyone comes and says, why have you come to Toastmasters? And everyone goes, because I want to improve my public speaking. It gets repetitive, particularly with so many wonderful guests. How wonderful that you've got so many. So perhaps pick a more interesting, tell us one thing that no one knows about you, or pick a word that describes you, something to jazz it up and make it a bit more individual. On to the timekeeper, Raphael. I loved how Raphael talked about the importance of time. He talked about respect, getting your point across. It really brought it home for me. One advice for Raphael is to really emphasize, I didn't know I didn't know that lights were there. I was thinking the poor guests coming in, they have no idea that the lights are right in front of them, what the different colours symbolize, and that you'll be rung, the bell will be rung at the end and you'll be clapped off stage. So just more clarity to make sure the guests know what they're doing. On to the linguist, Ignatius. I loved it. I felt like he was like, I've got tricks. And I was like, secrets, wow, oh my God, what's he going to say? So that was great. It was like a present and managed to grab everyone in. My one recommendation is to put a word of the day up. I would like to recount to everyone what the word of the day is, but I think it wasn't used because there's not reminders. So help the audience to bring in new vocabulary. On to the table topic master, Bianca. It was witty and fun and light. Hooray! My one piece of advice is really pump up the vocal variety. She was there, she was giving us headlines. She could have gone, crocodile slammed with flip-flop, or whatever it was, or crocodile slammed with flip, change it up. You've got 10 different people. Play with it, have fun, and try and use different vocal variety. Overall, though, I loved her. Great pausing in between, she said, and the next headline. And then went into it, allowed us all to catch up and keep on board. On to our table topic evaluator, Lissy. It was incredibly in-depth and thorough, which I'm sure was invaluable for all the participants involved. My one piece of advice, I'm sure she knows it's coming, but make it tighter and more punchy. We know that we've only got a certain amount of time. We know that we have 10 people. It's probably about 20 to 30 seconds per head. Sounds very clinical, but it's the way it should be done, so that actually everyone gets a fair evaluation. Overall, though, it was really gentle, incredibly encouraging. I'm sure everyone felt quite boosted. On to our first evaluator, Patrick, who evaluated Mamaya. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Smack, crack the whip, bang. You know, all of our senses were going. It was physical, it was loud, it was in your face. I quite like all of that, as you can probably tell. It might surprise you, I know, but so I just thought it was a great way to hook in the audience and engage everyone here. My one recommendation is really big up the icebreaker. I don't care that she's been here 2.5 years ago. This is phenomenal. This is the first speech in a Toastmaster journey, and it should be absolutely sung from the rooftops. So really go hell for leather. I don't know, I'm very passionate about the icebreaker being just so important. So well done you. But overall, I thought it was a really clear, very articulate and in-depth evaluation. So well done, Patrick. On to the second evaluator, Richard, who evaluated Cassandra. I loved how he actually demonstrated start and then the middle, you know, perfect example of how to use the stage to really emphasize your point. It was very subtle, but it's a very excellent technique that we can always bring in more to our speaking. My one piece of advice is that he came up onto stage and people were still clapping and he started. He was so excited, the horse had bolted. So my one advice is wait for the clapping to stop, pause, and then go. Really to kind of make sure that the audience are fully engaged. Overall, though, an excellent structure and recommendations. And finally, Sunny on Dele. I loved his speech. It was controlled, considered, and very methodical. It had a great structure to it, a great way to deliver an evaluation. My one piece of advice is don't cough. The first thing he did on stage was kind of splutter at the audience. I was thinking, come on, you can, start with a word at least, or some sort of, so either cough in your seat, cough on the clap, whatever it may be. But it can be a little distracting. So I jest, but it can be a little distracting. Overall, though, I thought you actually have a very seductive voice that kind of draws in the audience. And with the pauses as well, you should really look to enhance that. Overall, a fantastic meeting. Best of luck for 2017, and thank you for having me.